You have waited all day for this one clean setup to get tapped. Price starts to finally come to your zone. It gives a perfect reaction for you guys. You enter on the close, stop loss just below this liquidity, and you target this high for 1 to 2, but then you get stopped out. And the reason for that is because it wants to come down to this demand zone, which is below all this liquidity. And as you can see, it gives a perfect reaction from this zone. You enter on the close, stop loss right here, you target this high, and then you can hit insane trades like this. So let me explain why this trade lost and that trade won. So for the reason for that, it's really simple. This trade doesn't have any liquidity above your zone. As you can see, this zone right below all this move has plenty of liquidity sitting right above the zone where all stop losses are placed. Once it takes this all out, then you have a sweep of that liquidity, which also is the demand zone you want to enter from. Price gives a perfect reaction of a bullish candle. You enter on the close, you target the high, and you can hit insane trades like this. And the reason why liquidity changed my life in trading is this exact reason. I stopped taking trades like this, stopped getting stopped out, stopped being weird, and started using liquidity above my zones. Now, while you're trading supply and demand, you can see that most of your trades lose because you don't have any liquidity above your zones. And when you actually analyze your trades, most of your winners are when you have liquidity above your zones. You have to realize that liquidity is one of the most important concepts in trading, and if you're not using it in your strategy, then you're literally just missing out. So I have another example right here. As you can see, price created two demand zones, one below liquidity right here and one above liquidity right here. Now what it does, it gives a fake out for this zone because it doesn't have any liquidity, and people just don't understand. And then once it fakes that out, comes down to my zone, I enter on the flip right here, stop loss just below over here, and I take profit here for 1 to 10, and it just hits it without any problem. So I hope I convinced you now to stop trading normal supply and demand and start using liquidity. So for all serious traders out there who actually want to learn, then watch this video till the end because you'll learn the most powerful concepts in trading. So let me get into this. And what you need to understand about liquidity is it's not random. Let's say you have a zone just like this. Okay, now this is a completely valid trade for me because you have liquidity right here, which is in distance and it's a big enough of liquidity. Now, if I had liquidity right here, it would not be valid, all right, because it's too far and it's too small. Now, let's say I had liquidity like this. That is also valid, which is invalid is this. So it needs to be 2 candles minimum in my direction, and it needs to be a big enough of a high or a low. So for example, I'm in this live trade at the moment. As you can see, I got a pretty good entry here. I took a flip entry, but managed to get in even earlier. As you can see, I have 2 candles minimum in my direction of my zone right here, 2 bearish candles, and that is my liquidity. And now the most important factor is liquidity taking out its own high. On a supply zone example, it's liquidity taking out its own low. So in this example, it's pretty simple. It took out its own high right about over here. Also took out these highs, and these highs, which I really liked about this trade, and it's running pretty nice at the moment. But yeah, this is what you need to understand. You can't have one candle in your direction, call that liquidity, and then take the setup. As you can see, I have another perfect example here. Now, this here is a close entry. This here is an accuracy zone. You know, I'm not even going to go that in depth into this strategy. I've made other videos about how to enter, how to draw zones, but in this video, I just want to go over the actual concept in this whole strategy, the most important concept to actually making this strategy work. And for all those beginners who doesn't know, who's first time hearing this strategy, then it is just a perfect video for them to show you guys how much potential this strategy has. And in this example, you have a liquidity right here, and they made another liquidity right here, which also took out its own high and took out its own high. Now, which is the most important one is the actual trend. Now, I never take counter trend trades unless it has like a key level or something like that. But as you can see, we failed to take out lows many times. We started taking out highs to the left side, and then we started consistently taking out highs here as well into all this clear space, which is just a perfect place to take a buy from. And as you can see, we have a lot of fair value gaps right above your zone. Now imagine how much of a magnet this zone is. You have a demand zone, you have fair value gaps right in front of it, and liquidity sitting above your zones. It cannot be better than this. Big banks, big investors are always looking at these prices and not those normal supply and demand traders who trade something like this. No liquidity above the zone. And yeah, sometimes they do win, but the win rate of that, I know for some of you guys who trade more supply and demand, I know you guys don't have the edge. You haven't found your edge yet because you have not found this video. But now once you found this video, you can actually change your whole trading just like I did. As you can see, you can hit insane trades like this. And I actually did even take this trade live for 1 to 15 RR. So as you can see, I had a close entry right here. Then I had a stop loss of 1 pip below the deepest wick that came inside my zone. So that's 9.3 to 10.3, just like that. And I targeted just right here at 1 to 15. It is just insane. Now, this is not usual. I'm not telling you that I get 1 to 15s every single trade. All right, this is one of my best trades ever, and it is pretty insane. Now, I do have different rules to normal supply and demand. Like, for example, my candle is not allowed to close inside the zone or go through the zone. I got different ways how to draw zones. I got liquidity distances, entry models, and if you understand every single one of these concepts, it is so simple. All right, it might be overwhelming at the start, but once you understand this concept and once you start understanding the other concepts, and this will be the best strategy you ever traded. And the one thing I like about this strategy as well is you can go for high risk reward trades. All right, there's none of that one-to-one bullshit. All right, if you take, I don't know, 9 losses, you can cover those losses with just one single trade. Like, that is just unbelievable. You take about 7 losses in a month, and then that last day in the month you hit a 1 to 10 and you're 3% up. So it is just insane, right? Now, I'm not saying this strategy has an extremely high win rate, but I'm not saying it has an extremely low win rate as well. Now, this is pretty insane. Another trade right here, another trade right here, which wasn't actually that good. Then yeah, I trade like a few pairs itself. I haven't really marked up any trades. And then I have another trade right here, and also the 5-minute as well, which is just insane. All right. Yeah, so for a summary of this video, I'm not going to make it quick. I'm just going to give you the understanding of how much power this strategy has. For the understanding of this video, as you can see, another trade right here as well, which unfortunately I did get stopped out. I entered on the first bullish candle to react from my supply zone. I actually had a 2 pip stop loss from here, 15.7 to 17.7. And yeah, it was a nice trade. Took it because of this massive gap fill we had over here, targeted right this. But yeah, unfortunately I got stopped out for spreads, but there's no problem. I get other opportunities like this one right here, which is about to hit my TP as well. So yeah, a quick video to show you guys that this is one of the best concepts in trading. A quick summary is you have a push up before your demand zone is creating, then you have a low creating above your demand zone, then having that high taken out which creates that low, and then you have direct movement with a liquidity sweep and having a perfect reaction, which means a perfect reaction is a bullish close, bullish flip entry, bullish break of candle, and reacting with the wick. That's an example for a demand zone. And for a supply zone example, you have a strong push down with your supply zone right here having a high in distance, then having that high taking out its own low just like this, then having direct movement to your zone and having a bearish reaction from your supply zone, and then you can hit insane trades. Trust me, this is very good. Now, if you want to learn more about the strategy, you can join the Discord, or you can just get some free content on YouTube. Either way, my Discord and my YouTube is free.